Hi. Happy Saturday. So I wanted to go live today to talk all about house sitting. I'm sorry, I can't talk and type at the same time. So I'm trying to make sure that everything is working and still talk to you, and that's not working out. So we're going to talk today all about house sitting. I'm going to answer all of your questions. And that's it. So welcome. If you're watching the replay and not the live stream, it's okay. You can still leave comments down below and I'll see your comments and I will answer your comments because that's what I do. If you're new, welcome. My name is Stephanie Perry. When I was 41, I quit my job to travel for a year on my savings. During that year, I visited 12 countries in 12 months and I spent $1,200 per month. Um, then I went back home and went back to work and was like, no, how do I keep this going? I want to go back and travel some more. And that's when I discovered house sitting. Now I'm a year round house sitter. I'm house sitting right now in Austin, Texas. I generally don't shoot video from inside the house sitting client's home, but it's a little chilly this morning, so I'm indoors. And I help other women who are feeling burnout or just need a break or just want to travel while they still are able. I help them take a career break on a budget, including how to house sit. So make sure that you're subscribed to my channel and also turn on notifications, ring that notification bell, and you'll be notified when I post a new video. Welcome. Okay, so first I'm just going to run through, like I said, ask any questions that you have. First, I'm just going to run through the most common questions that I get asked about house sitting. But if you need me to clarify more, go ahead and ask. Or if you have other questions, definitely go ahead and ask. House sitting changed everything for me. Like I said, it means that I get to travel more and work less. I work as little as possible. When people ask me what I do, I usually say as little as possible because it's true. I make money as a freelance writer, so that's how I eat. But I don't, it's not like I'm working all the time. It's not like I'm working regularly. Like, that's really, oh, wait, how do I mute this? Okay, so it's not like I am dedicated to working. I don't think that our purpose in life is to work, to be a hard worker, right? We have other purposes that we need to fulfill, and sometimes your job gets in the way of you living. So, voila, house sitting. Hi, John. Hi, Jasmine. Oh, Sabali. Hi, Sabali. So, so let me get started with some of the most common questions. I don't know. On YouTube live stream, I don't know how to do anything. Let's see. I'm just going to type hi, guys. Okay, so the most common questions. The first most common question is always, do I have to pet sit? It depends, right? So that's not a good answer, but it's the true answer. It depends. First of all, you don't have to do anything, but our house sits, pet sits, if you're house sitting for less than 8 weeks or so, if the house sit is a week or two, 4 weeks, whatever, then it's probably a pet sit. It's probably someone who wants you in their home to take care of their pet while they're away. I am available to house sit long term because, as I said, I work as little as possible. So I get house sits that are not pet sits. So it depends on how much time you have available, how likely it is that you can do house sits without pets. Hi, Dana. Good morning. Um, but don't forget that if your concern is you don't want to take care of cats and dogs, don't forget that there are pets that are not dogs and cats, right? There are fish and turtles. There are a lot of rabbit sits out there. I'm afraid of rabbits, so I don't do rabbit pet sits, but there are rabbit sits out there. So just because you don't like, something, a specific animal or a specific option, doesn't mean that you won't be able to house sit. John, does the client ever pay for your travel to their location? No. I've had it happen one time, but that was an emergency with a client that I had already house sat for before long term. So they had booked another house sitter, and then at the last minute, that house sitter got sick, and They still wanted to go. The clients still wanted to go on their trip. So they paid me to fly. They flew me down to their home and paid me, cash money while I was there. But that was a rare occurrence. So no, generally you pay to get yourself there and back. You pay for your transportation. Sometimes you pay for food. Sometimes they'll stock the fridge, so it depends on how long the house it is. But mostly you'll pay for your own food. Um, you're getting free accommodation. So the thing about house sitting is that you just get a free place to stay. That's why it works whether you're talking about house sitting on your 5-day vacation or if you're talking about house sitting, like me, all the time. The benefit is that free accommodation. I hope this video looks really terrible. I don't know. I'm in like Austin, Texas with good high-speed Wi-Fi, but the video doesn't look very good. I think it's the people, stage 10. I think it's their fault. Because I'm out of everything. Let me see. I don't know. Let me close this. So, yeah, so transportation is generally on you. Most house sits are unpaid. So when you're house sitting through the service that I house sit through, which is Trusted Housesitters, those house sits are unpaid. But if you book through word of mouth, you can get paid. And also if you book through Rover. Rover is a company that pays you to house sit as well. And with Rover, you have to be eligible to work in that country. So Rover exists in the US and Canada and the UK at least. It may be in other countries as well, but it's definitely in those countries. But I can only use Rover to house sit in the US because I'm only eligible to work in the US. But they do pay for house sits. The client pays Rover and Rover pays you. They take a small cut. With Trusted House Sitters, no money is exchanged. It's just the free accommodation. Another question people ask me all the time is about transportation. Do they give you how do you get around when you get to this new place? Some house sits that are in the middle of the country, like in the middle of nowhere, do give you their car to use while they're gone. Most house sits that are in the city or in town don't give you access to the car. You're just on your own. Either bring your own vehicle or use public transportation or do like me and use Uber. I'm about to go meet one of my Instagram buddies right now here in Austin, and I'll be Ubering. Not right now, but like when we're done. And I'll be Ubering over there, and so that's that. Some of the listings on Trusted House Sitters, sometimes they'll be like, you need to have your own car to take this house sit. But it's because a lot of the people who get house sitters are senior citizens and they're just not either familiar with or comfortable with Uber and Lyft. So just because they say you need your own car doesn't mean you need it. I always look in the Uber app or the Lyft app, put in their neighborhood, because you don't know their address until you're confirmed, but you can tell their neighborhood before. So I just put in their neighborhood and like try to get a Lyft from the grocery store to the airport or whatever in that place. And if I can get one, I don't confirm it. But if I can get one, then it means I'm fine with Uber or Lyft, and I still take it. Still consider that house sit. Hi, Richard. Can you house sit without dog sitting? So yes, but but the majority of house sits are dogs and cats. If you're available for long periods of time, your odds of getting house sits with no animals increases significantly. But also remember that some of these pet sits are fish or turtles. I'm going to drop my link here to Trusted House Sitters. Just scroll around. This is an affiliate link so that if you sign up, they will give me a little bonus, which I would appreciate. Thank you. But you can scroll around on their site without signing up. Scroll around and see what's available. Pick a city or some cities that you're interested in traveling to and see what house sits are available. You'll see that there are house sits with just like fish or turtles or whatever. The cats. Cat sits are my favorite because you get the company of having an animal there, but they also don't care if you're there. It's not like a dog. You don't have to walk them. So scroll around on the site and see what's available. Now is the perfect time to get signed up and started with Trusted House Sitters because there are a lot of spring break people. People are looking to travel for spring break and Easter week, and they need you. These holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year, Martin Luther King weekend, Easter, Memorial Day, you know the holidays. I'm just like naming holidays. The holidays are the perfect time to get your first house sit in because the demand for house sitters way outweighs the supply. So if you're a newbie, it's the perfect time to jump in. Get your first house sit under your belt, even if it's not in like some exotic location. And then the world is opened up to you. Like seriously, the world is open up to you. Once you get that first 5-star review on Trusted House Sitters, you can house sit anywhere and do whatever you want. Dana says she's into fish and turtles. Yeah, I have never done a fish or a turtle house sit, but I see them on there. I saw I never can think of those things that look like little tiny porcupines. Hedgehog. There was a hedgehog house sit in London, and I was like, please pick me. I really want to take care of this hedgehog and give him a little bath in the sink, but I didn't. She was like, oh no, my mom's going to do it instead. Yeah, so Richard, yes, you can house sit without taking care of dogs or cats, but those are in much higher demand. So you need to be on it. When those house sits come, you need to be one of the first to apply. Normally being the first or second doesn't matter, but with those it does. All right, Richard, is this a 1099 or a cash side gig? Neither. Well, okay. With Rover, it's a side gig where they pay you to your PayPal account, but they also send you is it a W-2? So you need to report it on your taxes, is what I'm saying. So if you're house sitting with Rover and you're getting paid, you do need to report it on your taxes, and they do send you I don't know the word. I guess it's a W-2, because they take your information. You need to fill out your information for tax purposes, and you're responsible for reporting it all. They don't withhold or anything. But then the Trusted House Sitters house sits, no cash is exchanged. It's all just for free accommodation. You're just getting free accommodation with Trusted House Sitters, so no need to worry about that at all. I'm going to go ahead and try to find my Rover link real quick without it taking a million years. This will be my Rover affiliate link. Like I said, you have to be eligible to work in that country to do Rover. So Rover works for domestic travel or just at home, making some money at home. But Rover is not, you're not going to be able to do Rover out of the country unless you're eligible to work like in the UK. Paid house sits. Okay, so there's Rover. I need to put that as an affiliate link. Okay, another question that people always ask me, can you house sit can I house sit with my spouse or my boyfriend or my partner or whatever? Yes. People love couple house sitters. They love couples who house sit. I don't know why. I see it posted all the time. They're like, we're looking for a couple too. And then I'll be like, hey, I'll email them. I'm one person, but like, I can do this. I can take care of your dog. You don't need two people. People like to have couples. There are, there's a couple on YouTube, Tanaj and I don't know, but they are a husband, wife, and son, or I don't know, a man, woman, and son who house sit together. There are families who house sit. Once, like I said, with house sitting, everybody's a stranger until you get that 5-star review. So if you get if you want to house it with your partner, if you want to house it with your kid, if you want to house it with your dog, you can do it. You just need to get the first house sit under your belt, get that 5-star review, and then people who are okay with having a kid in their house or having another dog in their house will be like, okay, sure, we'll take you. I house sit for a mother-daughter team who house sits. This time last year, I was in their home house sitting for them while they spent the month in Greece house sitting for another family. I think they were on Mykonos or some island in Greece. Yeah, they had a fantastic time. I stayed at the mom's house and took care of the mom's dog and the daughter's dog. There were two dogs. And they were out in Greece gallivanting and having a grand old time together. So you don't have to be just one person to house sit. You do both need to have a profile with Trusted House Sitters, and then you link them. You can link them and apply for the house sits together. And people like it. People really like to have couples as house sitters or, duos. Hi, Tracy. Tracy said, what was my favorite house sit? It's hard to pick. So I have had so I like to pick house sits based on, do I want to go to that city And do I want to stay in that house? Like, is that house just gorgeous? And I stayed in some gorgeous houses. I stayed in a beautiful house right outside of Amsterdam in the Netherlands. And it was April, and the tulip fields were out, the tulip farms were blooming, and it was just fantastic. I happened to have been, like, at that time, not like, I don't know, I was grumpy. Sometimes you just get in a mood. So I feel like I didn't enjoy it as much as I should have, but I still enjoyed it. It was a beautiful house. It was just one cat who was like real independent, and the house was gorgeous. And Amsterdam is wonderful in itself, but then being there in the springtime when the flowers were blooming was just amazing. So that was one of my favorites. It was only 10 days. I've also done a 90-day house sit that was really good in Mexico. The house itself was just okay. It was just a regular house, but I liked being there for 90 days. I liked the neighborhood. I could walk to any restaurant that I wanted, like for actual Mexican food. And then I could walk to Walmart, which made it so convenient. So that was a good house sit. And then the dog that was a dog sit. That dog was really chill. I like having some company. So usually the house sits with an animal or with some pets are some of my favorites. Some of the ones where I don't pet sit. Like, I have done a nice house sit in a nice home with no pets, but for me, it was just okay. It was boring. I watered the plants, and there's like a lot of pressure with plants. I don't know how to explain it, but I know how to keep a dog and a cat alive. But the plants, like, I'm like, am I doing this right? I don't know. So that sounds really weird because I can keep plants. I've always had plants like in my house or whatever when I had a house. But it's just a strange feeling to know that all they want you to do is take care of these plants. I don't know. But anyway, so that Amsterdam house, it was probably my favorite. Yeah, but I've had a lot that I loved. I had a house sit in San Miguel de Allende. That if that house sit pops up on the site again, I'm booking it. I don't care where I am in the world. I'm flying into that home. The home was just beautiful. I did like a mini tripod photo shoot in there. And then I've done house sits where the house is fine and the animals are fine, but the people are just amazing. They take you in. So my very first house sit in Mexico was with a Canadian couple who they're actually the couple who flew me down when they had an emergency later. But for my first house sit with them, they introduced me to all their friends. They had like a party, not like a party, they had a party my first night in town and invited all their friends. And so I was only supposed to be there to house sit for 1 month, but their friends were all like, oh, well, can you house sit for me these dates? And can you house sit for me those dates? So through that one couple, I stayed in Mexico for 6 months house sitting, just because it took the time to introduce me to their friends. And so that was also one of my favorites. And I house sat for them again, like I said, when they had an emergency. I think I've house sat for them 4 times total in just 2 years. So I don't know. I've listed like 4 favorite house sits, but those were my favorites, Tracy. And I had a least favorite. I'll tell you about that. I talked about this one in my worst house sitting experiences video. I had a house sit back when I was still new, when I didn't realize something. So when people get a house sitter on Trusted Housesitters, you can see that they've booked a house sitter, and then you can see the reviews that those house sitters have left them. Very helpful. Well, this lady, I saw that she had house sitters booked, but nobody had left her a review, and she had had 3 house sitters before. And that did make me a little suspicious, because it's really easy to leave a review, even if it's just like, nice dog. The dog is nice, But I still took it because it was in LA. I wanted to go to this event in LA, and I'm not paying for a place to stay in Los Angeles. If I don't pay for a place to stay in Delaware, I'm definitely not paying LA prices. So I took the house sit, and it was a nice apartment. Dog seemed nice, and on the second afternoon or second evening, the dog got really aggressive with me just for a few seconds. And then I say to the lady, I texted her, I guess, or called her, and I was like, here's what happened. And she said, nothing, he didn't touch me, but he just let me know that he would if he had to. And she was like, oh yeah, he did that with his last house sitter too. you know, because he wore a weird collar that was hard to get off, and if it took you too many tries to get it off, he was like, "We're done with this," you know. So if I had bothered to ask her why her last house sitters had not left her a review, I would have known that this is a problem, you know. But I didn't know. And she didn't bother to say, don't use that pronged collar, just use a regular collar when you walk him. Like, you know. So that was my least favorite house sit. The dog was aggressive with me for just a few seconds, and then went on about his business. He was fine. I sat down to watch TV, and he tried to sit on the sofa with me. I was like, no, buddy, we ain't friends anymore. so, but you know, whatever. We were okay. I even walked him the rest of the time. I think I had at least one night left after that, one night and part of the day. So I walked him like 3 or 4 more times, and you know, he, no harm, but she should have told me that this could happen, you know. So that was my least favorite house sit. I also house sat for a 19-year-old dog one time, and I was terrified that he was going to die while his owner was gone. I was terrified. She cried when she left. She was going to do bucket list stuff. She was going to the Albuquerque Balloon Festival and the Hot Air Balloon Festival, you know. So that was on her bucket list. And she cried when she left because she thought maybe, possibly, he would take that time to die while she was gone. But he was fine. So, so that worked. I just prayed for him all the time. Every time I saw him, I'm like, Lord, please bless Fritz. Keep Fritz alive for 2 more weeks, at least. All right. You guys have any questions? I don't know. I don't know if you can see me. If you're having problems with seeing me or hearing me, let me know. On my screen, it shows that the picture is really messed up and pausing. And I don't know why, because we have good internet here, good high-speed internet here. Okay, Tracy, you've house sat with Trusted House Sitters. The family was amazing. The house was great. You look forward to re-registering once you sell your home and have free time. I think it's fantastic. I think it's fantastic. I love spreading the word about house sitting. I love it. I think that if more people knew about it, more people would be able to take vacations or travel long term. It's been fantastic. Fantastic. I keep saying that, but it has been. I recommend it. Barbie, when you house sit, do the homeowners supply food? How does that work? It depends. So generally, people who have either house sat before or who have had a lot of house sitters in the past are more generous with their home, you know, and they will stock the fridge. They will ask me ahead of time, what would you like? And, you know, so they're easier to house sit for, and they supply some of the food. I've never had a house sit where I never had to buy any food. I don't think. Maybe some short ones. But most house sits, you're on your own for food. I think pretty much all of them are like, hey, do you want coffee? You know, do you drink coffee, and can we get you some creamer, and you know, something like that. But for pretty much, I'm on my own for food. When I house sit through Trusted House Sitters, those house sits are all unpaid. When I house sit through word of mouth, I charge, and what I charge is basically a per diem. What I feel like it's going to cost me to live there that day, including food. So like in Mexico, I had a house sit where I charged. Sometimes in Mexico, I don't charge because it's so cheap. And a lot of those are like one dog or one cat. But sometimes I charge $10 a day because that's going to give me all the tacos and cerveza I need. And then I house sat in the Bay Area, San Francisco, and I charged them either $25 or $30 for a day. And that probably wasn't even enough because food is so expensive. That's an expensive place to be. But yeah. So maybe it just means I'm really insensitive to stuff. But people ask me that a lot too. I don't know what's happening. This sucks. I don't know what to do about the buffering. Well, I guess it's been half an hour anyway, so maybe if you don't have any other questions, we can call it quits. I don't know. I hate to do that because I feel like you might have questions that I just can't see because the screen is stuck. We'll see. We'll see. Let's see. Maybe if I go onto here instead of onto there, I'll be able to see it. Okay, so I don't know. I feel like the video has come to a halt. So people also ask me, do I feel confident that that $119 fee for Trusted House Sitters is worth it? Absolutely. It doesn't matter how many house sits you book in a year. As long as you book at least one house sit, you're getting your money's worth, right? Because where would you go and be able to spend less than 119 on accommodation unless you're like staying with family or something? So as long as you book a house sit and don't just get a membership and let it sit there, as long as you book a house sit, you're getting your money's worth. Trusted House Sitters is having a 20% off sale on Leap Day, which is February 29th, as you know. So if you're waiting to get your membership, maybe do it on the 29th. If that doesn't, if that 20% off is not a big deal to you, that'll take it from 119 to 95, right? 96. So if that's not a big deal to you, go ahead and get your membership now, like seriously, and get a house sit booked. Let me tell you really quickly how to get that first house sit booked. Okay. Number one, your profile on Trusted House Sitters or any other house sitting site has to be thorough. Sometimes you apply for a house sit and people won't even have read your profile, honestly, especially if you already have a lot of reviews. But there are some people and some house sits where they are going to pour over every single profile. Your profile has to be thorough. It has to show that you are warm and friendly and trustworthy and caring, and that you're going to be the person that they would want in their home as a substitute for them while they're gone. So make sure your picture is friendly. If you are okay with pet sitting, take a picture with a cat or a dog. Like seriously, my profile picture is me and a dog smiling. The dog is like really happy in the picture. So make sure that your picture is warm, something inviting, something that makes someone say, yes, please come stay in my home. And then you've got to just fill out, it's like any other thing. You've got to fill the profile out completely. There are four levels of background checks. It might be 5. The first is just to send in a copy of your identification. So do that. I believe I sent my passport photo. I don't know if a driver's license picture. I'm sure a driver's license is fine. So I sent in a picture of a copy of my passport. So get your documentation verified right away. And then they do a small background check. There's a much more thorough background check, which I think is the 5th level of verification. You don't need that. You don't need that. You can do it. I have it, but I only one client in my 30-some clients has ever asked me. Actually, one woman in my 37 booked house sits has ever asked me, and then she didn't book me. So I got that 5th background check because I wanted that particular house sit. It was like a tree house type thing, like where you like a cabin but up on stilts, and so you're like up among the trees, and I really wanted that house sit. So I was like, okay, I'll pay for my background check. And then she didn't book me. So you don't need it. I've had 30-something house sits without that final background check. But at least get those first 4 levels of verification. And then here's the crucial thing. You have to get a reference. When you don't have 5-star reviews already on any of these house sitting services, you have to have someone write a reference for you. Trusted House Sitters makes it really easy. They have a little button. You put in somebody's email address and hit send, and they send them a request to write a reference for you. It should just be from someone who can verify that you're a reliable person. I took some time to travel full time. Like I said, when I was 41, I quit my job to travel for a year on my savings. And during that year, for a little bit of time, I stayed in Australia with a family. I did a work exchange through Workaway, and I was like the part-time nanny. They call it demi pair. My job was to get the kids up and dressed for school and feed them their breakfast, pack the lunch, drive the carpool. And for that, I got free room and board for my entire 2 months in their home. So that lady wrote a lovely review for me. I call her that lady. She's my friend now. But Mashenko wrote a lovely review or reference for me. She just said, I trust Stephanie. Not only would I trust her to take care of my home, I trust her with my kids. It was a lovely review, and that got me my first house sits, at the drop of a hat. And then once I got that first house sit with the 5-star reviews, now they're rolling in. Like, I can get a house sit anywhere, anytime, basically. Now it's up to me, right? I just pick, do I want to do this? Do I want to do that? Like, I'm in Austin right now because I really wanted a house sit a house sit where I could be there for more than a month and not do like a week here, 10 days there, So get the review, make sure your picture is friendly and inviting, fill out your profile completely, and I said 4 things. Get your review, picture, fill out your profile. Oh, and then do the background check things. The first background checks. And then start applying for house sits. I always tell people to apply for a house sit in your area first. Just get something out of the way, something you don't need. My very first house sit was in Wilmington, Delaware. I lived in Delaware. I house sat in Delaware. She gave me the reviews. Everything was happy. Everybody's happy. We all win. But I do one-to-one calls with people and help them get started house sitting. And I did a one-to-one call with a woman in, we talked the end of October. And on Thanksgiving weekend, she called me and was like, I booked my first house sit. It's Christmas in Johannesburg. I mean, she swung for the fences. And then just maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, another one of my ladies who I had done a one-to-one call with booked her very first house sit for 6 weeks in Singapore this summer. Now, this was before coronavirus, when that was like a really exciting thing. So I shouldn't have said the word coronavirus in the video. I don't want that to be my tag. But yeah, so yeah, Singapore. That's going to be an amazing house sit. So yes, I do say try to start locally, but you don't have to. Apply for any house sit that you want, but include local house sits. Don't discount them. Include the local house sits, because I'm telling you, once you get your first review with Trusted Housesitters, boom, everything is opened up for you. I'm going to come back on here and see if I'm still buffering. I exited out to see if it stopped and got better. D, hi D. Yes, okay, good question, D. Is your initial email to homeowners available to us? Yes, I'm going to link to that. I have the exact template to the email that I send. I'm going to have to type it in now because I don't have a link. housesit.vicarious.com/template. It's a long link. But yeah, that's the letter that I use to get house sits booked. One of my Twitter followers just got her first house sit. We didn't do a one-to-one call, but she just got her first house sit, and she was like, that letter was clutch. Yeah, because it says, I'm trustworthy, I am warm and friendly. It's, without like saying those words, that's how the letter sounds. It says, I'm already going to be in town. I think that's an important thing when you're booking house sits in another town or another country. Explain to them that you're already going to be there. even if you're not. Seriously, even if you're not. Like this house sit, I told them I was house sitting in Texas um, after this one. I said I had another house sit booked after this one to make them feel comfortable that I was going to be in Texas. They knew I was in Mexico. And I told them that I'm going to be here February and March. I'm not. But I want them to feel comfortable that I'm going to actually show up and not no show at the last minute. Even with 30-something reviews. Now, I could take that line out probably now. But for you, for a new person, I think it's important that you give them a little, without saying the words, I will show up, give them a reason to believe that you're going to do what you said you're going to do. Yeah, so there's a letter. You have to sign up, right? So that's the letter to, you fill in your email address, and then I will send you the letter. Yeah. So that's it. It says, I want to do this. I want to house sit for you. It says why I like house sitting. Basically, it just says I like to travel, which is obvious, but yeah, I think people want to know, like, why would you want to stay in my home? Especially people who are new to getting a house sitter. Like, why would you want to do this? Hey, travel, free accommodation, win-win. Okay, let me go back and look at the questions. I keep exiting out because I know that buffering thing is a problem. So I'm exiting out so that I don't have both things running at the time. Tracy Lynn, the membership is worth the money. Legs. And so I wore these long skirts for weeks. But I was hanging out with this woman from Germany. I knew that she was from a town in Germany called Karlsruhe that is kind of near the French border because I know that, it was near these military bases. I used to want to be stationed in Germany, and she lived near there. So we became friends, and we talked all the time, and we hung out for, I don't know, probably more than a week straight in our hostel. We stayed in the same hostel, and we did tours during the day together. And then one day, after maybe, I don't know, like 4 or 5 days of hanging out with this woman consistently, like all day, every day, I lifted up my skirt, and I was like, I have to go to the hospital. And she looked at my legs, and she was like, that's leishmaniasis. And I was like, yeah, I already Googled it. How do you know it's leishmaniasis? And she was an epidemiologist. I had no idea. I've been hanging out with this woman for 5 days all day and had no idea that she was an epidemiologist. She studied tropical diseases. I thought she was like a kindergarten teacher or something. It never came up. 5 days. 5 days. Can you imagine? I'm about to go have lunch with Candace, one of my Instagram friends, and I know that within 30 seconds, I will know what Candace does for a living. Because that's what we talk about here. But I didn't want that anymore. And house sitting makes that possible. House sitting makes it so that I can have a life that is not work. And I want that for you. I want that for you. Okay, let me come back on and see what questions. I just got off track. But that's what, if you've watched any of my videos, you know that. That's how I feel. That's what I talk about. Okay, I don't think you guys have, if you have any more questions, let me know. Okay, so a quick rundown. I'm going to exit out again because it's not, I don't think it's buffering right now, so I think I solved the problem. So most house sits are pet sits, but keep in mind that not all pets are cats and dogs, and you might be okay with, house sitting some fish, turtles, whatever. Dana says she's good with fish and turtles. Rabbits, like I said, there are a lot of rabbit sits. I just don't do them because I'm afraid of rabbits. Chickens. In the United States, there are a lot of backyard chickens that are come stay at my home in Nashville and feed my chickens. Yes, you can house sit as a couple or a family or mom and daughter or whatever. 2 besties. No, you don't get paid for transportation to get there usually. They might pick you up at the bus station or the airport, but that's about it. The food question, maybe. So maybe they'll provide your food, maybe they won't. Probably, definitely, I'll say definitely not for the whole time. That's it. Right? Those were our questions today. Is the membership worth it? Yes. If you book a house sit, if you don't just buy the membership and let it sit. Okay. I signed up for something in December, which was like $27, and I haven't used it yet. It's a book. So one of my 2020 goals is to write is to put together a book of photos. It's not going to write, you're not writing the book of photos, but it's to put together a book of my travel photos. So I bought a piece of software and I haven't used it yet. So it's not worth it until I use it. Same thing with the house sitting membership. It's not worth it until you use it. Book your first house sit. If you're nervous about paying that $119 and getting your first house sit, book a one-to-one call with me and I'll walk you through it. We will get you your first email sent out. We'll get you from no profile to profile completed and emails sent out. And then you can book your first house sit. Holidays are amazing times to get started when you don't have reviews yet. Easter's coming and those house sits are already up. I've seen lovely house sits in Switzerland, all over Spain. Lovely houses. I have to be home for Easter this year, but there's some good stuff out there. So now is the time. Now is the time. The membership is $119 for 1 year. If you want a house sit and get house sitters, right? Let's say you have dogs, you want a house sit and you want someone to come in and take care of your dogs while you're out house sitting for someone else. They have like a combined membership. And I don't know, I'm sorry, I don't know how much it is, but it's maybe $150 or so. I don't know. I'm just making up numbers. I would guess it's $150 so that you can be a house sitter and a house sitting client at the same time, if that's your concern. To get started in your town, get started applying for house sits where you want to go, and also apply for house sits in your town. So if you're in Atlanta, if you're in New York, if you're in wherever, I'm just naming cities, but wherever you live, don't be afraid to apply for house sits locally, even if you don't need it, just so you can get it out of the way. It's totally not necessary, but it just makes things easier. Not necessary, but helpful. Okay. I think that's pretty much what we've covered today. And then another question people ask me is, being a black house sitter, does it affect me? Does it mean that I don't get some house sits? Absolutely, absolutely, especially in the US with older white clients. House sitting clients generally fall into two categories. They're either retirees, older retirees. April says it's buffering again. House sitting clients are either older retirees or like younger millennial professionals. Those are most of the time who I house sit for. The older retirees, especially video again. Maybe the next video will have good audio. I don't know. I'm on a losing streak, y'all, but it's gonna get better. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.